Hello everyone, I'm back with a new film review for you guys. Last week I did a sort of reaction video type video, but this week I'm just going to go and do a film review of a film I've actually watched. So today I'm going to review Hillbilly Elegy, which is a new film on Netflix. It's come out in the last couple of weeks, and I've been really excited about seeing this film because I saw the trailer and I thought it looked fantastic. If you don't know what it's about, it was directed by Ron Howard and it was written by Vanessa Taylor based on a book by J.D. Vance, who is he isn't, well, I guess he is the main character. It's a film based on a true story about this guy who grew up with his mother and grandmother, and it's basically the story of his life, and it's based on a true story. Um, so the mother is played by Amy Adams, and the grandmother is Glen Close. And I personally think that if they don't, it's this kind of film where it you can see by the trailer and by watching the film that it's a film that's been made to be nominated for Oscars, like it's Oscar season. And I personally think if Glenn Close and Amy Adams don't win Oscars for this, then they're never going to win any Oscars in their lives because the performances are phenomenal. I knew that both of them had been nominated tons of times, but I wasn't exactly sure how many. And then I looked, and Amy Adams, I think, has been nominated 6 times, and Glenn Close 7. So I think they both deserve it by now. I remember I saw the film The Wife, starring Glenn Close, and I thought it was Donald Sutherland as well, but it turns out it was Jonathan Pryce, and they just look very similar. She was nominated for that a couple of years ago, and Glenn Close lost to Olivia Colman for The Favourite. And that film is perfect, and I've loved Glenn Close from that. But I also saw Glenn Close in a performance of Sunset Boulevard at the English National Opera in London a couple of years ago. And at the end of the performance, she came out and took the bow and round of applause like 20 times because she was so good live. And so now, whenever I see Glenn Close in a film, I'm like always I always try and see it as quickly as I can. So I really hope she wins an Oscar for this because she's fantastic. This film has gotten a lot of hate online, and I personally don't think it's deserved. I think a lot of it has come from people who just want to hate on things for the sake of hating. A lot of the comments are about how it's a misrepresentation of um, poor families in America, and like they're allowed to have that opinion. But I think because the main argument they're making is that they're multimillionaires trying to be someone they're not, but at the end of the day they're actors and they should be paid. That's their job, is to play people from a wide variety of backgrounds. So the film, if you follow this series of reviews that I do, you'll know that I'm not a fan of flashbacks in films, but this film is full of it, and it's the first film I've seen in a while that I've actually enjoyed having flashbacks in there. So it's a mixture of being in the summer of 1997 and then 14 years later in 2011, and you can tell how the culture has changed because there's loads of like pop culture references. Like the soundtrack is brilliant, but there's a really funny scene with Glen Close and the kid where they mention Monica Lewinsky, and I just love pop culture references to Monica Lewinsky, so that really made me laugh. And I didn't realize this going into it, but it's advertised as a drama, but I would call it a coming of age film because JD, the kid, Amy Adams' kid, is like 13 years old for most of the film, and it's about his relationship with his grandparents and his sister and his mother, who is a heroin addict, and that theme goes throughout the whole film. And so there's a difference between, we get this portrayal of him coming from a poor family in the beginning, and then over the course of the film he got into Yale Law School, and now he's like a big he's gone from being in a small poor family to being in the biggest law school, and there's a lot of cultural differences, and he gets looked down a lot for being poor. And I think that is a good representation and a good it shows the two sides really well. It's quite a sad film. One of the characters is Glen Close's ex-husband, Amy Adams' father, and he dies in the film. And he's not even that much of a big character. He's only got a couple of scenes, but for some reason his death really moved me. But then, so he dies, and I don't know if you've seen it. I'd recommend you do watch it. But we see him die, and in our minds, he's one of the good guys. He's a really good character. But then after his death, we learn about how in the past he was a woman beater, a wife beater, and very misogynistic. So that kind of changes your opinion of him. But then we also see, as the film progresses, that none of the characters are perfect. I think it's written in a way where you're not supposed to like the mother, but you always come around her because she has this personality, and it is a comedy. It doesn't really look like it, but it's more of a dark comedy, and Amy Adams performs really well. She has some really good funny lines, but it's the writing is manic in the same way that her character is manic, because one minute she's laughing her head off with her son, the next she's grabbing him by the collar and hitting him and punching him and everything. And like I said, if you've seen these before, you'll know that I don't like violent films. But it's based on a true story, and it's based off a book that the character of the kid has written in real life. And so it's fine. I'll allow the violence in this. The characters, the way, I think the casting was perfect for this, because like in all biographical films, at the end you get pictures of the real life people rolling on the screen, and there was a picture of Glen Close's character in real life, and I had to do like a double and triple take because I genuinely thought it was a picture of Glen Close as the character, but it was like the real woman, and she looks so so similar, and she looked exactly like her, and so did Amy Adams. She looked a lot like her. And then I say I don't like doing spoilers, but the whole film, more or less, is about Amy Adams' character's addiction, And in the film, we learn that Glenn Close's character has died, but at the end, there are title screens that say what's happened to the characters, and we learn that Amy Adams' character is 6 years sober off drugs. So I think that was a really nice ending. I didn't want to talk a lot about the drug use in this film because I know it can be triggering for people, and you never know who's watching these videos, so I didn't want to do that. But I think it's a very good watch, and I would highly recommend it. I'm glad I came back to do this review for you guys this week. Apologies for last week's video. I realised it was a bit intense, but it was something that needed to be said. And yeah, I've posted 2 weeks in a row. I wonder if we can make it 3. Hopefully, because there are a lot of good films coming out next week. But yeah, I'll leave my things up here, I think, or maybe over there. I don't know, I'll see. But yeah, if you haven't seen the previous videos and you like this, then give those a watch because it's more or less the same talking about other films. And I've realised I never say subscribe if you fancy at the end. So do hit subscribe wherever it is. And yeah, I might see you next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again. Bye.